Welcome to our Healthy Living video blog at workoutmaster.com. This is Ruben.
And this is Aram.
Today we're going to talk about cleanses. We have a lot of questions coming from listeners asking us if this cleanse is good for you or that cleanse is good for you. So let's tear this one apart. Let's
Absolutely.
see what do you think.
Well, have you done any cleanses in the past?
I actually did. I did quite a lot of liver cleanses by Andrea Moritz's book, something about cleanse, liver cleanse of that sort. I think I did about 7 or 8 of them in a row. You know, I definitely got out of it something.
When you mean in a row, what do you mean? What was the space of time between?
Right, every about 2-3 months.
Oh, okay.
Every 2-3 months.
I was gonna say 7 or 8 in a row.
No.
Poor liver.
No. But I definitely experienced whatever he says coming out of me. Let's put it that way. Those gallbladder stones.
Not to get graphic or anything?
Yeah, not to get graphic. I cannot say that I felt an incredible relief. That I cannot tell you for sure. So I'm not sure about how much benefit does it give you. I did saw that the stones that are coming out were smaller and smaller and smaller with the amount of cleanses that I did. That was progressively smaller. So there is a benefit to it. How much? I cannot really say that.
Right, so this is the thing that I wanted to discuss about and to talk about and to get a different impression from our listeners. I've done many and various types of different cleanses, over the years, since 2002. The interesting thing about them is that oftentimes they do make you feel good for a short period of time. And this only, of course, speaking out of my own experience. Some of the cleanses, they say, oh, you feel so much better. And my experience was that you do feel better because during the time of the cleanse, you absolutely feel like shit.
What did you do? Did you buy a product to do cleanse? Did you do
I basically did all kinds
fasting?
of... Yes.
Fasting, colon cleanse?
Fasting, colon cleanses, colonics, going to different herbs and tinctures. It was pretty, some of them are pretty foul tasting, but it's understood and it's fine. Okay, that's the least of my worries. But however, what I did feel is that oftentimes during the process of the cleanse, you feel absolutely horrible for a few days. So after the cleanse, when you go back to normal, of course you'll feel better because you were pretty much ill to death, or deathly ill, during the process. The interesting thing that now as the season changes and we approach, the fall time, there's some people that follow a very rigorous approach to the way they maintain their health by doing cleanses, which I think is great if it works for you, of course. And coming to the fall, they will do their treatments, to prepare their body to go into the winter and so forth and so on. And the one thing that we wanted to get is the impression of what our listeners are going through if they're doing these cleanses and what their experiences are. In my opinion, all the cleanses that I did in the past, they were good to a degree. Perhaps I didn't meet the expectations that are spoken about as far as how you should feel and all the stuff that should be coming out or the results that you feel physically after you do these cleanses. I do like them. I'm not going to say that I don't. Am I in favor of them 100%? Well, not quite, because the interesting thing that I wanted to point out is that oftentimes some of these cleanses, they could be very, very stressful to the body, and we know that. The body goes through a hell of a time trying to get through whatever you're trying to process. That's why I oftentimes mention that not always is good for people to go and do these, cleanses, full on, or head on, because they can actually have a nasty effect on the body. And if your body's kind of suffering a little bit, I think it's better off to just stay away from the cleanses for a while and try to just bring your temperatures and your
there's a drawbacks to cleanse. One of the drawbacks, as much as I understand it, a lot of times people do it because they feel, let's say, dirty and they feel like they need to cleanse. Now after they do the cleanse, they tend to go back to exactly what were they doing before. Well,
that happens in every single aspect of a human being.
Yeah, unfortunately, just because you did a cleanse, it doesn't mean that you're clean right now.
No.
It could be used as a good jump start to start something beautiful in your life. Now, would you just use a cleanse to give an excuse to yourself to do everything else wrong in your life? That is probably the biggest drawback for me in the class.
Well, that's using for that approach, which is never a good idea to do that. I mean, often if you do cleanses, it's to improve the quality of the function of your organs and glands in your body, and that is it. And yet at the same time, realize that oftentimes, in my experience, once again, is that these cleanses can have a very stressful effect on the body, and the body may have a hard time compensating for them. So at the end, what you're doing is you're drawing more energy out of the body just to try to establish some type of a level of health, and you're really not.
What do you feel like is a good benefit from a cleanse? What would somebody benefit from a cleanse?
When would they benefit?
Yeah.
Well, I think the most ubiquitous type of cleanse that people use are what they call cleanses. If you're not going to the bathroom as often or in the amount that you should on a daily basis, I think using some type of a cleanse to eliminate a lot of the stuff that gets stuck in your colon would be a great idea. Now later on, going to liver and kidney and gallbladder cleanses, that's a much more delicate subject. I think it's something that has to be actually probably for our listeners to deal with the professional that they're working with, if they are, because the side effects, which I don't really like to call them side effects, but the detriment of doing some of these cleanses is that the body can go to hell for a while, and you don't want to really go through that when you're already trying to establish better health, better energy, when you know for a fact that some of these cleanses will kind of draw some energy away from you, and they will make you feel less than great.
So the good benefit of a cleanse is that it gives you a good jump start.
If we're talking about colon cleanses and stuff like that, yes. But when we go into more detail and more specific organ and gland cleanses, I think that's something that's very, very subjective.
Okay.
And that person will have to approach it with
How about fasting?
caution. I don't fast.
But in general, how do you feel about fasting?
I think that fasting, some people might disagree, but in my opinion, fasting is one way of actually putting your body through a very stressful situation once again, because I don't think that you will be meeting your requirements to maintain optimal blood sugar levels, and that in itself can actually be a catalyst for many other issues to rise in the body, like the lack of support for energy production, hindering the function of glands and organs, and I don't think it's ever a good idea. Have I fasted before? Yes. Did I feel good? No, I was hungry. So how can you feel good when you're hungry?
I don't know, I can tell you this much. My dad fasts 10 days out of a year. He's been doing it for, I don't know, years and years and years. And he loves it. Do I find that it is extremely beneficial? No, but I can see the changes in him when he does it. It does help him. But at the same time, I understand how stressful it is on his body.
And there might be a lot of, and I'm sure there's a lot of good positive aspects about fasting, because at least at the very least, let's face it, what you're doing is you're giving your body a chance to rest. Especially if you're not eating good food and you're constantly putting garbage inside of your body. Not putting that garbage in the body will give the body a chance to just feel like, take a weight off your shoulders.
So, meaning that one of the best way to start a cleanse is actually start changing your lifestyle and start not putting any garbage in your body, and that will give your body a chance to cleanse.
Well, wouldn't that be the greatest detox that you can do, that you just avoid the stressors?
So instead of just going through the motion of cleanse, no cleanse, cleanse, no cleanse, it's better to just do the stuff right the whole time.
I agree with you.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say?
No, just please, let us know any kind of comments that you can add to the content that we have put here. As you can see, this is very much an opinion. It's not a fact. It's just out of our own experience, particularly me in this case, since I'm the one speaking here right now. But we'd like to know what you think, what your concerns are, what kind of fastings or what kind of cleanses have you done with a positive influence in your body, and the ones that have been less than positive, let us know, because we can always share that information with other people that might be very interested, and they, for some reason or another, might not have the support that they require to know that the work they're doing is actually bringing them forward in their quest for health.
All right. So here you have it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, your future looks better already. Until the next time.